Experience today, just today, that I told my chairman, I choose whenever I meet a young person, I want to know what that young person does. So you see me every day talking to young people. So just this morning, I went somewhere with the chairman, and a young lady was to boil the water for me to make tea. I said, I will do it. She said she will do it. She was excited to do it. She was worried, and she said to me, she was almost in tears that I lost the election. And I said, so what's your name? She said she's this, called that name. I said, so who are you? She said she was from Nasarawa. So I said, where do you go to school? She said she went to University of Nasarawa. I said, so what do you do? She said she has no job. She graduated since 2018. I said, so what are you trying to do? She told me she's learned how to do baking. So why are you not baking instead of being here to do this? She said she doesn't have 75,000 naira to buy an oven.
Okay, so many people at the back there. So what I'm going to do is...
That's the life you get in Nigeria every day. People who don't have money to buy an oven.
Yes, Nigerians. And Peter Obi wept. It's on that note, really, I'm starting this broadcast. My name is Comrade Lamtic Mousa here, and of course, this is a Comrade Show. If you're joining me for the first time, yes, enjoy the broadcast and share the broadcast if you could. Of course, for those who are with us regularly, you know the drill. Let's share the broadcast. Peter Obi wept. A lot of people, you know, may read different meanings into these, but I sort of catch it. I sort of understand where the emotions are coming from. You know, just beyond the surface, it's a little more than just that young lady who's unable to, you know, afford oven, haven't been trained to bake. Peter Obi wept because, you know, that situation had become the everyday story of the everyday Nigerian. Peter Obi wept because far less than, you know, the cost of oven, there are so many Nigerians who cannot afford some basic things because of how we have been entrapped within the Nigerian nation. The man wept because opportunities, you know, have presented themselves for us to make choices that would, you know, change the status quo. But somehow, you know, our own people are the ones who deny us those choices. The window of opportunity for us to make a statement that would, you know, help begin to transform the nation, okay, was just closed down by us. So when I was watching Peter Obi, I was not really seeing that little girl who was unable to buy oven per se, but I was looking at a myriad of issues encapsulated in the inability of that young lady to buy herself an oven. Having been trained in a system like Nigeria, where hypothetically we are potentially the richest nation in this world, and yet we are the poverty capital of this world. Peter Obi understands this, and Peter Obi understands that we have the capacity to transform this nation, to turn things around, to make Nigeria a better place. Why is it not happening? It's not happening because of us. It's not happening because we Nigerians, some of us, deliberately ensure that the same old story remains. He wept because yet again, while majority of Nigerians came together to decide who their president will be, in our very own eyes, the same people that belong to the establishment, push their buttons to ensure that Nigerians were denied, the very choice they have made. He wept because why you would expect everybody, to fight, crave for, pray for, do everything for, the opportunity to have a better nation within those everybody that is so mentioned. You have a few persons who muzzle it out to ensure that the story does not change. Peter Obi wept because he understood that the battle ahead is probably even bigger than what we have seen. He wept because all the opportunities we've had, we've misused all of them. We get to sit back and watch the worst of us take advantage of the best of us. So there are so many issues encapsulated in Peter Obi, and of course his emotional outburst at that point. I could just imagine what would have been going through the mind of Peter Gregory Obi. Nigerians, I'm just trying to use it to establish a framework for my broadcast.
Okay, so many people at the back there. So what I'm going to do is...
That's the life you get in Nigeria every day. People who don't have money to buy enough.
That is the life you get in Nigeria. People who don't have money to buy ovum. Ovum here becomes symbolic. Ovum here becomes a representation of very many situations. Ovum here becomes a representation of that family, that man, that woman who wakes up in the morning, probably has nothing to eat, doesn't even know where the next meal is going to come from. People who woke up, they just move to try to, look for something to survive on. They are not sure where they are going. They are not sure what is going to come in. They are not sure. People even today who have very meager, resources, who have very little money in the bank, and they are going through the pains of having to use their money to buy money in their own country. Earlier today, one of my in-laws called me. She's been struggling. She's got money in the bank, but she cannot access the money. She was able to put through some of these POS, whatever arrangements they have in place, put in place by the same system that is just finishing all of us. And she paid 2,000 naira to withdraw 10,000 naira, which means that she wanted to withdraw 10,000 naira. She paid 2,000 naira and she was giving 8,000 naira, buying money with money in her own country, and yet there is no state of emergency. Peter Obi wept because of that. I feel it. I weep along with Peter Gregory Obi. Because why you think that ordinarily that this probably would have been, it should be something about some segment of society and not all, you'll be surprised to know that it's a matter that is affecting our entire society. To the extent that the young people, only yesterday, one human being, his name is Emmanuel Aigbogun, I think that was his name is. He posted something on Facebook, something very libelous, he mentioned the name of the Comrade Show. And what he posted was Obaseki to resume a Zoom meeting with Edos in diaspora to ensure Labour wins all House of Assembly seats across Edo State. The Comrade Show contacted to mobilize Edos in the diaspora. And he tried to whip up sentiments by uploading some videos of some very elderly women crying, appealing that they've been served, alleging that they've been served, notice by the government that their houses were going to be demolished and all of that. Trying to whip up sentiments. And when I saw this, it was just a ploy because they already know that Labour is leading Edo State and Labour is practically going to win the House of Assembly in Edo State. So they want to ensure that they deflect attention away from Labour. They want to try to capitalize on the relationship between the governor of Edo State and the majority. Well, I will use the word majority, but very many Edo people right now who appear to be disenchanted. They want to drag Labour into it, so they create all sorts of lies. Now, just to say, this human being, Emmanuel Agbogun, I really need to establish some things. I mean, it's not my style really to be, calling people out like this, but I need to do this because, some of these boys, they are part of the same story that is making Peter Obi weep. They are part of the same story that's making all of us weep. This is a very young man, okay? He is an apologist of the APC. He's been campaigning vigorously for Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He belongs to the group they call the Lions and the Tigers. He's very loyal to this young man called Tony Kabaka, who, is APC youth leader in Edo State. And so you can see, having established, you can see where this is coming from. You understand the picture from I'm saying now? So all he's doing is carrying out the bidding. That's the young man there. He's the one carrying bags now. Along with, that's the picture you can see there, along with Tony Kabaka and all of that. So I won't establish this more than this, but just to let us know who this young man is and all of that, and where this is coming from. So they are fond of creating lies, creating, very, funny situations around, to buy, weak minds, to kind of take advantage of the credulous ones in our society, for their own advantage. And you and I know that APC is of no good to us, not just in Edo State, but to us in Nigeria. And so all they are doing right now is the only thing they have in their mind right now is which is wishful, which they are not going to get, is to make the Edo State House Assembly become APC members. And the only purpose is, to impeach the governor of Edo State, whether there's any rational reason or there is not, to create whatever it is and all of that. And that's what they are doing. That's their own plan. You understand the picture of what I'm saying now? And all of that. And because they know that the Labour Party is leading, and so they want to use this discontent of some people in Edo State right now against the Labour Party candidates. Let me tell you, Governor Obaseki has no business with Labour as far as I know, to be very honest. But Obaseki is campaigning for PDP. Obaseki is a PDP member, and we saw it all through the campaign trail. He's been with Atiku Abubakar. As a matter of fact, the same Governor Obaseki we are talking about right now, allegedly, stopped the Labour Party from holding their own campaign rally in Edo State. So you can see that this human being who called the comedy show out on his own platform, is like I said earlier, it's probably, let me not use very strong, harsh words, really, but definitely he's part of the same story, the same Nigerian story that is making us weep. We have seen different irregularities through our elections. Young people are being used. He belongs to that class of people that are being used to disturb our elections. These are people who are only, acting for the interest of their own survivor. You understand what I'm saying now? Unfortunately for them, well, fortunately, thank God that some of us don't belong to that class. You understand what I'm saying now? And all of that. And the reason why, again, is because we've always provided a platform through with the governor, where the governor, talks to those across the world and all of that. And so we are not doing that because of any self-serving interest. We've always been doing that because of the interest of of Edo State people. And so we cannot be demonized in any way, shape, or form for doing that. And as a matter of fact, suffice to state that everything that we have done in that respect to support the government of Edo State, okay, they have been sacrificial. I am not owing Edo State, anybody in Edo State government or even the government, anybody a dime. We are not owing anybody. Everything we've done with our time, with our money, with our everything. You understand what I'm saying now? We challenge anybody to come out to say, man, this is a proof of what we gave to them at any time. to do anything, any of these things. It's because of our interest, and that interest is unflinching. It remains, and it's on top of that same interest that we are standing, looking at all the things that will make Peter Obi weep, that will make Peter Obi weep like many of us have been weeping, that himself has been weeping. That on Saturday, nothing can stop us from ensuring that Labour Party wins across board in Edo State, in Lagos State, in Rivers State, everywhere all across. Because this is the only way, you understand, voting Labour is the only way that we can further make the statement that Peter Obi is the man who won the presidency. I said earlier that anything outside of Labour votes, okay, is trying to, give acceptance to the illegality that INEC has perpetuated. You understand? Colluded with Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his team to perpetuate on Nigerians. That is what it means. So which means that for all of us Nigerians, everywhere we are all over the world, we must make the push. And for those who are saying that, oh, I don't want to come out again, look, if you don't come out again, you're only giving room for the worst of us to take over the affairs of this country, and you will suffer for it as well. Look at the policy of this cash policy right now that is plaguing everybody. These are decisions taken by the worst of us. Look at what INEC is doing right now. It's because the worst of us are the ones in authority. So whatever you see us do, some of us do right now, our enthusiasm, our every effort is to see the possibility of ensuring that at least some of the best of us are the ones in charge of governance in our states, in our country. And I mean, before I just finally leave the issue of Godwin Obaseki, let me tell you people, those state people, you understand? I am not missing words. Many of you will agree, many of you will not agree with this. Okay? It's just that the voices of what's it called? People who are opposed to Obaseki appear now to be louder. And so many people may not be able to verify the state of things on the ground. They catching on it, and it becomes even bigger. Because right now, there are no voices defending Obaseki. There are none. And it's very unfortunate. But the fact remains, which many of us know, and I'm able to say that, apart from Governor Samuel Ogbemudia and Ambrose Ali, Obaseki may go down in history as, apart from those two men, may go down in history as the best governor that ever governed Edo State. There are so many things to talk about, about his approach to governance and every other thing that people are going to disagree about. But I can tell you, you understand what I'm saying now? I can even people making comparisons to say Adam Osumole is one of the worst governors we've ever had in Edo State, and I have statistics to prove that. So if Obaseki takes certain steps which he needs to take, he would go down in history as the third best governor that Edo State has ever had. I'm able to say that. I don't agree with several things that the government is doing. The highest of which is, I'm honestly opposed to the way he has handled relationships across the states. And that is where his problem really is. But talking about every other thing that that a government needs to do to reposition the state, with all due respect, I would say that from the things that we can put together so far, I would say that Obaseki has done better than many of these past governors that we've had. Done much better. Again, the reason why some of us cannot start rating him now is because he made so much promises. You understand what I'm saying? Now much more than what he's done or he's doing, is expected. And so we probably we still have a time to analyze all of that dispassionately. You understand what I'm saying? But on this election matter, Obaseki is on his own. Purely on his own. Our advocacy is for the Labour Party. And that is what we continue to make. That is a push we continue to push. You understand what I'm saying? Now, nothing is going to hold us back on that. Coming back to Peter Gregory Obi, who lamented, who cried, who wept, because this young girl could not get money to get herself an ovum so that she can go back to what she's learned and contribute to society. You understand the picture from I'm saying now? Obi, he made other expression. He had already promised the girl was going to get that girl, that ovum. He did good with his promise by giving that girl, a check to go and get the ovum. That's the picture I've just uploaded there. You can see. You understand what I'm saying now? And I'm making the girl, or rather the girl promising too that she's going to get the ovum. You understand? In Nigeria made products, so that at the end of the day, all of that, this thing, all of that money and every other thing will help, contribute to our economy. You understand what I'm saying? And the value chain will remain in this country. And this is why the understanding of what a value chain means, held strongly by Peter Obi, is a reason why everything that we can do to aid his emergence as president of this country, we must do. I am dispassionate about this. Many of us are. You understand what I'm saying now? Some people don't even know the reason why they are dispassionate about Peter Obi. Some people do know. You understand what I'm saying? In-depthly. So those who know very, very well, they continue to push. You understand what I'm saying? We cannot be tired. Because the future of this country is at stake. It's at stake. When the man says that he's going to move this country from consumption to a production, country, it means so much. It means so much. Many of us may not understand holistically what it means. We may not understand, but the truth of the matter is that it starts from the very, very smallest unit of what we can do to better ourselves, to how we even spend our money, where we spend our money on. And the vision we have for the money that we are spending. You go to some place they say, man, you make money, but you spend the money in the place where you make it. Because that money you are spending in that place increases the value chain. So you need a president who has a full grasp of that, who understands that politicians traveling abroad to go and spend our money in various hospitals across the world, they are not doing good to Nigeria. He understands that we need to put our hospitals in Nigeria in place so that people who have money can actually be coming to Nigeria to come and spend their money there. And the staff of those people working in those hospitals and everything about that hospital, they will enter transport in Nigeria, they will buy their cars in Nigeria, they will go to markets in Nigeria and spend the money in Nigeria, and the money will in turn serve the interest of Nigerian people. Value chain. Peter Obi understands that. And I can tell you that, the knowledge and preparedness of Peter Obi is such that he has not even spoken, well enough about. The things he has spoken about, they are very small compared to what this man has the capacity of doing in this country. And so therefore you see that it's a challenge for all of us. And everything that propels him to become president, we have to do. And that brings me to one point. Ordinarily, INEC reserves the power to announce results. We don't have the power to do so. You understand what I'm saying now? But from what we know from the Situation Room, okay, I mean, I'm going to do this. You understand? I'm not breaching any rule of engagement. I'm not superimposing this on INEC on Nigeria. From what we know, which Peter Obi is going to be arguing, you understand what I'm saying now? I'm doing this on my own volition. From what we know, Peter Obi won the election right hands down, based on the report we got, raw reports that we're able to put together from different polling units across Nigeria. Before the results were uttered. This I'm showing you some part of it right now. The true picture before these things were uttered. The true picture that came out of it. Those are the things that you are looking at right now. How well Peter Obi did, even in the northern states, even though they may not want to own up to it, but this is the true picture. This is the true picture of what that you are seeing right here. That's the true picture. At the end of the day, the final analysis, we are able to put together that Peter Obi won 19 states. 19 states, APC won 8 states. And PDP won 7 states. That is the true picture. Peter Obi is from what we are able to put together is the president-elect, the genuine one of Nigeria. So you see why people must advocate that this mandate must not be allowed to be lost, because there are sufficient, evidences here and there to push for these. Now, today, what many of us may not be aware, INEC has gone to court today against Peter Obi, and of course what's his name, Atiku Abubakar, because the court had earlier granted that INEC must surrender all electoral materials used for the presidential election for Peter Obi's legal team to look into all of those materials and build their case going forward. But today, a few hours ago, INEC has gone to court, praying the court. Okay, say INEC seeks court permission to reconfigure beavers, seeking review of the inspection order. You understand? So they are not asking the court for the court to grant them, apparently not to heed to the request of Peter Obi, that they want to reconfigure the beavers. I hope this will not hold, because that's a deliberate attempt, okay, to truncate the process. That's a deliberate attempt now to keep Bola Ahmed Tinubu right there. You understand what I'm saying? Now, because they know overwhelmingly that even before Peter Obi's team will, inspect nearly a quarter of the what's it called, the beavers and every other thing, they know that INEC will be guilty. Bola Tinubu will be guilty. Peter Obi will clearly become the president of Nigeria. And I have made the case very strongly. I hope that Peter Obi's legal team would be able to present proper arguments. And one of such arguments is that INEC should have known that after presidential elections there will be some legal contesting the result of the election. Whether it was like this or it turned out a different way, there was going to be contest, and courts will be granting that materials will be looked at. So expectedly, INEC should be prepared for this case, and so the prayer of INEC cannot be granted. There should be a very strong argument in that direction. The court has already granted that INEC must surrender all of these materials, and I want to appeal. I don't want to appeal. I will push this further, to Peter Obi's team. Okay, we must hire mobile forensic, engineers and cyber forensic investigators to come and help us do justice to this. We must identify beavers that have been used to upload multiple results. They must be able to identify beavers that were used in people's bedrooms. They must be able to identify beavers that were used outside of voting hours, beavers that were even used before election began. They should be able to unravel all of that. That's why we need proper forensic, investigators, auditors to audit this election. And the prayer that the result of this election should be cancelled, I think that one said it doesn't even fit into what I would demand. I would demand that the result, the result should be properly looked into and will be declared president. And how would they do it? Let forensic investigators come. They come and audit all the available ballot papers that is with INEC right now for the presidential election, and let them sieve out the ballot papers that were printed by just one person, printing hundreds and thousands of ballot papers in favor of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Let them minus them out and look at the legitimate ballot papers that they have left, and count the legitimate ballot papers and declare Peter Obi the winner, because he will be the winner. These are very fundamental things, but the lawyers know best. They know best. They know best. So that's what INEC is doing. And whatever INEC is doing right now, I can tell you for sure, he's already speaking to the fact that INEC knows that they are guilty as charged. They know they have colluded to compromise this election. They know they have done the worst job in the history of electioneering in Nigeria. And that's why they want to try to cover their tracks. And I hope that the Court of Appeal will not grant this prayer for them. Because if they do, in fact, it will be dangerous for democracy. So fellow Nigerians, like I said, I've maintained that the battle is not over. It's just beginning. March 11, okay, is a continuation of what we did on the 25th of February. We must come out in Edo State, across all parts of Nigeria. We must come out and give Labour Party the victory. We must do it in Edo South, in Edo Central. We must do it in Edo North. Labour Party must take over the assembly. And I'm sure that it will not be Labour Party's business to be looking for how to impeach the governor of Edo State if it is not necessary, if nothing calls for it. So Labour Party honorable members that will be making up the House of Assembly must understand that they will be given the mandate to come and stabilize governance in Edo State, ask the right questions, probe into bills, look into the laws already made and see how they are not serving the interests of the people of Edo State and review them. Stand in the gap for the people of Nigeria and Edo State people most especially. Create that sense of balance. We don't want an assembly that will be a lame duck assembly like the ones that are ongoing right now, that are outgoing right now. We don't want that, and we don't want any assembly too that will be made up of people who are going to be malicious, who are going to come with vengeance and anger to come and remove the governor of Edo State. Removing Governor Obaseki as governor of Edo State is not in our best interest as Edo State people, except of course there's absolute reason why an impeachment process must be instituted. But it has to be dispassionate, not on the ground because of one, what's his name, Ushomol in one place. You understand what I'm saying now? Because of personal vendetta, must want to ensure that, to get his own pound of flesh, he gets Obaseki impeached. That's not in our interest. We're not looking for that. If there's no reason to impeach Obaseki, then he stays. But the only people that can make this judgment will be an independent House of Assembly that I believe will be made up of what's his name, Labour Party members in the House. So, Edo State people, please, we are speaking from the altar of reasoning. We are speaking very dispassionately. You understand what I'm saying? Now, it's not a matter of this one. There is no friend, there is no enemy in this matter. The only thing in this matter right now is the interest of Edo State people. That is where I stand, and the interest of Nigerians and Nigeria. And I want to extend to say, my people, I've talked very much about Lagos State. I want to appeal to all of us in Lagos. From the House of Assembly to the governorship in Lagos, let us give the Labour Party, a smooth passage. This young man is running for the governorship of Lagos. He's a young man, Gbedebo, Rhodes Vivo. He's a very young man. You understand what I'm saying now? Let's impact. The reason why we have to do this Lagos matter, we need to break this jinx, this entitlement jinx, this ownership jinx that have long been instituted by Bola Ahmed Tinubu. This boy have to become the governor of Lagos State to at least guarantee some level of hope in this process that we are embracing right now. We must give him the governorship. We must elect Labour Assembly members. Let me make some correction. Because some people have been addressing me as a Labour Party member. I am not a member of any political party in Nigeria. I'm not. I am not a member. Somebody once said that I thought you were a PDP member. I was never a PDP member. I have never been a member of any political party. 2 years ago, I supported the governor of Edo State to become governor of Edo State. He's a PDP member. I advocated for him, but I'm not a PDP member. I don't belong to any political party. Neither am I a Labour Party member. I am just an obedient follower. Labour Party happens to just be in this space right now as a vehicle to carry the undiluted messages of the obedient family worldwide. And so we make the case for Labour because Labour Party is the vehicle through which these guys will emerge to salvage Nigeria. And we are around. We are not going away. So Nigerians, I'm appealing very strongly. Let's do this for Labour. In Rivers State, Labour is another hotspot. Nyesom Wike is one of the worst human beings that he himself has proven to be. Nyesom Wike is a traitor. He has betrayed the Rivers State people. Nyesom Wike is not fit to be called a governor. His agberoism, was laid bare in the last election of 25th of February. His treasury was laid bare. How much were you paid by APC? Even if you were paid by APC, wouldn't you have just allowed the election to take a natural course? But so many revelations are coming out right now. How Wike colluded. How Wike oppressed the people. How Wike empower hoodlums, young people. You see why Peter Obi wept. Young people to take arms and ammunition against their own people. Many revelations are out there flying around that now on the internet space. And yet, the same Wike is trying to impose a man that has been alleged to have stolen over 450 billion from the coffers of Rivers State. He's trying to push that man now on top of the Rivers State people. Nigerians, Rivers State people, please. I bet for that day, want to share this broker is very important. That's why we do so. We know they play. We need to salvage this country. Not be only president who wants savage. So many nonsense is taking place at the level of the states. We must get these things right, reasonably, so that the rest don't go hard for President Peter Obi to handle. So Nigerians, I appeal to you. That girl you are seeing right there right now, Comrade Beatrice Otubo, is running for the governorship of Rivers State. Abemo will give her a chance. Let us vote for this game. We'll support her. Enough is enough. We can do it. We can do it. And for those of you who may say maybe, presidential election have been such a waste of time. Look, man, Obiism we've made so much gains with Obi's presidential election. We've made so much gains. And you know how many governors were deposed? Like they were trying to go and hide in the Senate. They lost their constituencies. Do you know how many politicians were contested against Labour in Anambra State, in Enugu State, that lost against the Labour Party? Look, my people, there is so much more we can do. The confidence is high. Let's come out. Let's make the statement again. This time, we are wiser. We are wiser. What they did in the presidential election, we didn't really see it coming. But it came. But this time, we are wiser. So those state people must arise. Nigerians must arise. Let us do it for Labour Party. Let's do it for Labour Party. It's very, very, very important. Let's do it for Labour Party. All this nonsense you see everywhere, okay? We cannot continue to endure this show of shame. And lastly, I just want to hope again that the courts in Nigeria, the Supreme Court, the Appeal Court, the Magistrate Court, the tribunals, you people, you have your name to redeem. The legal profession in Nigeria has her name to redeem, particularly before the international community. You guys are the last hope of the common man. Do your job and do it rightly. Do it rightly. When I do it rightly, let us at least have something that we can see, say, okay, we trust this one reasonably. The robbery and the rape of this democratic process cannot be sustained. And you will only be sustaining it if you are voting for APC, if you are voting for PDP. Go Labour, vote for Labour. And there are no other options. Just vote for Labour. It's very important so that we have a National Assembly that, of course, will not just be one way. Say, leader don't talk, everybody's coming. The I say yes. The yes say the I say yes. Then I don't know how to talk about it. Then we say nay. The eyes have it. Bam. It don't move on. Bam. It don't move on. No argument. Nothing. The worst National Assembly in the history of anywhere in this world is this particular one right now that we have had. That is outgoing. This particular one under Lawan is the worst National Assembly. I remember when the last National Assembly was in place when what's his name, the previous Senate President, I'll remember his name just now. I remember how active that National Assembly was, standing up to the presidency, reviewing and looking at the bills properly, arguing back and forth in the interest of Nigerian people a lot more. This one, nothing. The same thing with Edo State. My people, I said I'm going to come out this evening to come and make some of these points. This is what I'm making. So people, Peter Obi wept. He didn't weep because he was happy to weep. He wept because we have a nation that should change. We have a country that should be redefined. Unfortunately, it's not there yet.
Okay. So many people at the back there. So what I'm going to do is
That's the life you get in Nigeria every day. People who don't have money to buy enough.
Fellow Nigerians, please share the broadcast and let's keep pushing. God bless you.
This is the Commerce Show. The Commerce Show with Comrade Lante Oriente. This is the Commerce Show.